All right, everyone. We have on today Miss Michele Ngome. Did I say your name correctly?
Yeah.
I'm actually taking, I don't know where you're from, but I'm taking Yoruba lessons right now.
Oh wow.
So it's an interesting time. I'm enjoying it though. But
Yeah.
we
I'm sorry.
go.
I'm from Cameroon.
Oh, you're from Cameroon. Okay. That's cool. So how long have you been in the States? Were you raised in the States or?
Yeah. So my parents got here in the early '80s, so I was definitely born in the States.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So I'm sure that has a little bit of an influence on what you do. So you work in diversity and inclusion in the marketing space.
Yeah. So I definitely made a pivot. I think as far as my parents' involvement, just being a workaholic for one,
Mhm.
but I think too, just having more sympathy and empathy
Mhm.
for people with diverse backgrounds, definitely from the culture perspective.
Mhm.
Um, and then it's just, as you grow up and mature and come across more people. But I remember working at the call center in college, and customers would be like, oh my God, thank you for your patience. No one's ever explained it to me like this before. Especially people from India or the Middle East, because they have a really heavy accent. And, my mom has a heavy accent. So I'm like, we'll just get through it.
Mhm. We'll get through it
And
together. That's really good.
yeah,
So
but
so
people,
what do you do specifically in marketing for diversity and inclusion?
yeah, so I've definitely made some pivots in my business. But what I do is I work with medium to large organizations on making sure their images and their messaging is in alignment when it comes to internal communications as well as external communications. So, for
Mhm.
example, lots of times what companies will say, um, well, they'll have black and brown photos, right? And the thing is, a lot of y'all, they don't lack the rep. So it's two things. It's either the lack of representation or the misrepresentation,
Mhm.
right? So you may have black and brown people, but maybe you're always portraying them as the help,
Mhm.
right? Maybe they can't afford this trip to Greece, but you continuously have them as the maid or the butler or maybe the bus driver. But it's like, no, black people, we out here, we taking trips, we riding Bentleys and Mercedes.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So just, educating organizations on the right imaging and the messaging.
Okay. So the podcast is specifically focused on social media for social media professionals and those who just want to know a little bit about the background. And when I looked at your work, you've done a lot of work in the barriers that someone can face entering the digital marketing space and whatnot. So, exactly what are some of those barriers that someone um, I want to say BIPOC, but I really like to be specific that Black people face, and then extensively people of color who aren't white passing
Yeah.
they face.
So I've been in business for 7 years. So like I said, it's definitely gone some pivots. I am a small business owner.
Mhm.
I think the biggest thing that we face is really funding,
Mhm.
right? Because I think when we have the money, that's when we can hire the people and then we can possibly pay for other resources.
Mhm.
Or if we have the money, we can take the time to grow personally and professionally. When I say grow, whether it's taking the time to go to score, which is free. People are like, it's free. But lots of times people don't have the time because they need to go make money during that time, right? Um,
Mhm.
and then obviously if you start making money, hiring a business coach or a specific coach to kind of help you navigate what you need to focus on. um, I think funding is the biggest thing. A lot of us make money, but then we have issues with cash flow,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? So I know a couple of years ago I looked up, filing my taxes. I was like, where'd all this money come from? Because I didn't see it month to month, but
Mhm.
at the end of the year, it's like you owe, and I'm like, but why? So
How? Where? From what? Please tell me, please.
Because I know a couple of times I'm like, how am I gonna make it?
Mm-hmm.
But so I put a lot of emphasis on cash flow. A lot of people like funding's important, but
Mm-hmm.
it really is cash flow. I want everyone to have a 6 or 7 figure business, but I think more importantly, if you can bring home, that 10,000 a month
Mm-hmm.
consistently, can work tremendous for your business, for your income, more than me giving you 100,000 at the beginning of the year, right?
I see what you mean.
So, and I like to make sure that once you do have that money, um, how are you going to use that effectively and efficiently when it comes to marketing? Marketing has a lot of moving pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So, what specifically do you need in marketing? What's your overlying strategy? And then breaking that down into social media. Okay, well, what platform do you want to focus on? Um, like I spent the past 4 or 5 months focusing on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm in a new year, new phase. I'm like, I need to even change my Instagram strategy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So just understanding what do you want to focus on, what's working, and how you need to double down on that in order to hopefully increase your results.
So you said you want to change your Instagram strategy. Why do you want to change your Instagram strategy? Other than the fact that the algorithm changes every day, but why?
Yeah, so I don't do reels,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm just, I don't know.
You stubborn? Are you stubborn?
I'm stubborn, right? And the thing
Okay.
is, I know what works. I study this, I read the articles, I watch people, and I know what works.
Mm-hmm.
I think when it comes to certain types of videos, reels and TikToks, there's a certain personality that works.
What do
And
you
I
mean?
don't think um I think well, I get a lot of ratchetivity sent to me
A lot
through
of
my
what?
friend. Ratchetivity
Okay,
sent
yes.
to,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to me through
You
my
need it,
friends, right?
balance. Mm-hmm. Get it.
So I think there's those, but then I also get, some very intelligent businessmen and women
Mm-hmm.
that, are doing their thing. Um, and I mean, that's cool. I just don't see that for me, you know.
Okay.
I think I'm one of those people when it comes to candid conversations like this, I'm really good. You can take this clip and maybe it would do well, but for me to just kind of sit and talk into the camera and try to create something,
Dance
yeah,
and
that
stuff.
like that's not me, right? um
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not one of those people, like I'm not going to try to be funny or be something I'm not to grow my Instagram. And I do understand where it's a catch 22 in the sense that I have like 5,000 followers, and I make money, right? Like I make money. I may not make money off of my social media followers in the sense I'm like, hey, go buy this book, go buy this pen. But I do know before a brand reaches out to me, they're looking at all of my platforms,
Mm-hmm.
right? At the same time, I do know if I was to have more followers, I'll probably get some more opportunities as well. And that's where the catch 22 comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
As far as why I want to change it, so the past about 4 to 6 months, I hired someone. I've been focusing on Instagram carousels,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's been great. It's definitely allowed me to gain more followers, compliments, and all that kind of stuff. I literally teach marketing on my Instagram profile.
Mm-hmm.
However, um, just the direction I'm, excuse me, that I'm going into now, I see the people that have great followings.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the individuals that are taking a lot of pictures, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this year, I'm going to make it a priority just to take more photos, photo shoots,
Yeah.
as well as just me going out and about. And maybe more motivational clips of not even motivational, but maybe more business and marketing tips
Mm.
versus the carousels.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed. The accounts on Instagram that I actually interact with are accounts like We the Urban. Have you heard of them?
Hmm.
And it's just words on a picture, and that's very good for me, but my engagement is usually higher on the images. So I, like you, I have to figure out a new strategy of actually taking pictures. So my next question to you is, as a Black marketer, do you feel that we have to work as freelance, versus or start a business with our own agency, because there's so many barriers to get into the corporate field? When I tell you, I've had companies fly me out, 3 days of interviews
Wow.
multiple times, and it's just like I don't get it. So like, do you think it's better for us to just start freelance, to start our own business, that rather than going straight to the corporate field?
Absolutely. I had a similar situation to you. I got my marketing degree in 2013,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't get a marketing job until 2018,
Oh.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But I started my business in 2013, right? So it is hard, and I know a lot has changed. When I finished school and went through that period. I think another thing is people need to specialize because once again, marketing is so broad. So it's like, what do you want to focus on? I
Mm-hmm.
think for me, I'm a good marketing manager because I know a little bit of everything. So I would encourage people to niche down as much as possible and start off as a freelancer, especially right now with the pandemic. A lot of people laid off last year. They're starting to rehire. Small businesses, they're going to proceed with a little bit more caution.
Mm-hmm.
So they can hire you as a contractor and then they're still saving money on the back end because they're not paying for your benefits,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're not paying for healthcare, 401k, and maybe, some of those other benefits. And hopefully you can make enough money that you can kind of take that up on for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely start as a freelancer, figure out how many clients you can manage, figure out if you can hire another contractor, um, talked about benefits, see if you can afford your benefits as an individual, see if you can put yourself on payroll. Like right now, I'm looking into Gusto to see if I
It's a
can put
what?
my
Gus-
Gusto.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Mm.
So Gusto, it's kind of like, from what I understand, kind of like a bookkeeping slashing payroll or more HR payroll
Okay, so it's
company.
not QuickBooks, right?
No,
Okay.
no, but it will allow you to put yourself and your team on payroll, right? So I think definitely start as a freelancer, and as your clients and your money grows, just take those baby steps. Like write down, what are some of your goals? Okay, well, can I make 50,000 in 1 year? Like that's average, to be honest with
That
you.
is average.
Corporate or business owner, that's average, right? The thing is, you can't technically you shouldn't pay yourself that 50,000 because you have to pay taxes. But that's average,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, that might be even a little bit above average considering the pandemic. Everyone's coming out with new reports now. Um, but yeah, if you can hit those milestones with your clients, income slash revenue, healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
hiring other people, payroll, and whatever else may be priority for you,
Okay.
then you can transition into agency slash business owner.
Now, what when you are in a room, say you have a new client, and they came to you for consulting, clearly if they're your client, what are they usually seeking from you as with your expertise?
Right now, it's interesting because most companies are, because of all of the things that happened last year. Some companies are on their tippy toes, and now we're in Black History Month,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like we we need our intention to meet our impact, right? So we mean well, but we are having mishaps on how we communicate, right? Or maybe they're going to their Black employees all the time for approval.
Mm-hmm.
And their Black employees are like, y'all don't pay me for this. I'm in
Yeah.
accounts receivable. I know nothing about marketing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They're using a token, basically, or making them one. Yes, I got you. I got you.
You know, so that's where most companies are. So they're looking to just making sure that their intention meets impact and that they're communicating their message well to their employees as well as to their buying audience.
Okay. And my next question is, sorry, I can't see today.
Mhm.
One of the things I've commonly heard in marketing is that if it's, having a lot of people of color on screen or in the strategy is not marketable, which means that it won't make money. What do you say to that?
I disagree. I think,
Mm-hmm.
look, we the people, we the culture, we the foundation, we the blueprint,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we are everything, you
Everything.
know? Um, like I have an Android, but Clubhouse is a prime example,
Mm-hmm. Are you on
right?
Clubhouse at all?
No, I'm
Oh,
not.
okay.
But if you if you think about it, supposedly there was, we'll just say, white tech guys on there geeking out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And somehow, at least when I heard about it first, Ava DuVernay was on there, and then Kevin Hart, and then it just kind of blew up from there, you know. And it's only been what, 2 months, maybe three
Yeah.
months,
Yeah. I think just
and
two.
it's only iPhone users, and it already has a $1 billion evaluation.
Valuation. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And not only that, I think that, have you seen the icon for it?
Mhm.
I think that was a part of their strategy.
Mm.
Bomani was not always the icon for Clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
They got that, and first people I heard, of course, the first people I heard from was us. So, like you said, we are the culture. I think that what happened was it got popular on Black Twitter, and white folks love to look to try and get a view into Black Twitter. And with the app being being a Black man, people started swinging in, and then they started coming over. Now there's been a lot of rooms with people signing petitions saying not to change the icon because they're trying to change the icon. It used to be a white girl.
Mm.
So I don't know. Clubhouse is just it's an interesting jungle.
Yeah, but in like I remember I launched my podcast in 2015,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to a conference. I went to a podcast conference, and
Which
I
conference?
remember New Media Expo.
Okay, I haven't heard of that one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't even exist. Like that was the last year.
Oh.
Um, but I remember meeting the owner. I don't know, but there was an app called Clamor,
Hmm.
and it was similar to Clubhouse. It was, but they marketed to podcasters,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which was smart because you can
Mm-hmm.
talk into the app, you can play a clip of your podcast on the app, you can go back and forth on the app, audio only, right?
Hmm.
So that's why they say like ideas come a dime a dozen. It really is about how you execute, right? What's your strategy, and then how you execute. And I just think we're the culture. Like things just kind of pop off with us. And this is stuff that I read. Like if I mean, look at, we can go back to 50 Cent's Vitamin Water, right?
Wow.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can go to, they weren't white guys per se, but they were like Middle Eastern, Europe. They were
Mm-hmm.
foreigners, but white passing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we can go to if we compare Fenty Beauty and Victoria's Secrets. Victoria's Secrets has always had a problem because they had their annual TV show, and we'd be like, where are the black models? Or there's only one black model, or there's not a plus size model,
Mm-hmm.
right? What's Rihanna doing? Killing the game.
Killing it. killing it. You hear me? Fashion show streaming on Amazon Prime, killing it. Like, yeah.
And
I
like that's like,
haven't heard had a conversation about Victoria's Secret in years.
and then there's another company called Third Love. I think
Mm-hmm.
they're bras
Mm-hmm.
only, you
Yes.
know, killing the game. And like, that's what diversity of marketing,
Mm-hmm.
inclusive marketing, like, that's what it's about. And we just move the needle forward. And, sometimes, like, I'm cool with white people. I made a lot of money. I make past, present with white people. But I definitely feel like there's a group of people that are afraid of our genius. They're afraid of our power.
Why would they be afraid of it?
That's the thing,
Mm.
right? Like, that's the thing. I think we can all be better together, white, black, and brown. But
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the power trip, it's the ego, it's the systems in place,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because there's a bunch of cool white people, but it's the systems in place, it's the systems that they operate in, it's the systems we all operate in.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they don't know what to do. Sometimes our black men don't know what to do. I've had black women bosses, and they're like, I just became a manager, so you got to go, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's the system in place that kind of, hurts us at times.
Why do you now you mentioned black men, so what happens in with the frame of black men who are in place when you get there?
Well, I think what happens is there's part of it's tokenism,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's not a lot of us on this level. And then we finally get that one person, or that one person gets on the level and they want to stay there, right? So it's like they either just got in or they just want to stay there
Yeah.
because they finally got the title. They finally making an unfathomable amount of money, right? That
Mm-hmm.
they couldn't even imagine. They got families to support, not just their spouse and children, but maybe they're the first in their family to do it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Our parents are getting older. So
Yes.
there's just a lot of responsibility. So it's like you don't want to shake that ground too much.
Because there's a,
Um,
I feel like for us, there's a lot more at risk. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there really is a lot more at risk, right? And if we do leave, we want to leave on good terms. So, and I say it in this way, right? Because I love the black man, but this is how society is. We live in a white, capitalist, patriarchal society, right? So it's going to
That's
be
it.
white men, black women. That's just the hierarchy,
Mm-hmm.
the nature of the beast.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think that they realize that. I've encountered that as well, where it's like, okay, there can only be, I guess, like I like that you said one token in this spot or one token in this house, and it's just like, no, like we should, there should be some type
Yeah.
of collaboration there. So, my next, you've been answering my questions without me asking them. I'm like, geez, she's really good. um, my next question will be, well, what would you say to someone who's like me, who's been in the interview process of trying to break into marketing, specifically digital marketing or even marketing, because we both know that social media marketing and marketing are different. What would you say to them if they're trying to get into that space and they're coming up with a lot of these barriers that we discussed?
You know, there's so many things. Part of it is have someone that can review your resume.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Maybe hire a resume writer.
Mm-hmm.
Have a friend or a mentor that you can role play when it comes to these interview questions. Update your LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Put your other social media pages on private temporarily, if necessary. Um, Review your Google yourself.
Mm-hmm.
See what's coming up on the internet, because I have been a manager before. I have interviewed and hired people before. So kind of look at your online reputation. The African American Marketing Association, we have a job board. It's aa-ma.org,
Mm-hmm.
job-opportunities. But if you go to the website, we have a job board.
Mm-hmm.
If you see something you like, let me know. I'll try to connect you. I'll pass your resume along. I manage the job board. So, I mean, I can't guarantee, right? But I can at least get you further along.
Yes.
I can at least email your resume to the HR person that reached out to me for the job posting instead of going through this unknown, this black hole on the website, right?
Yes. Just sorry. It's true.
uh, um, I mean, 80 LinkedIn did this thing where they say 80% of the people, get jobs through professional networking. So network, try to find mutual connections,
Mm-hmm.
try to reach out to people on LinkedIn if you don't know them, like, hey, I saw this job opportunity. What's it like working there? Start investigating. Like, we
Mm-hmm.
have to put a lot more action into it than ever before, right? Especially now, once again, a lot of us are working from home. So you have to be very intentional and strategic with your networking and your job hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out to recruiters. I mean, find, good communities, you know, professional associations,
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn, Facebook groups, online communities. Like, put the stuff out there.
Yes.
um, Attend webinars, especially if it's company or industry specific webinars. Go
Mm.
on Eventbrite. Like, you really have to be active. And I know it's hard because, it could take a good 30 to 45 minutes to apply for one job.
That's easy.
Uh,
That's a light day.
Yeah.
If they don't have a questionnaire,
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah. I mean, so I get applying for a job is a job in itself,
Mhm.
but you really have to, be on your A game. And keep in mind, you're not going to do this for every job, right? There's going to
Mhm.
be some jobs like, that's the company I want to work for. That job description is me. This is mine. And then you're going to go all out, right? So just try to find balance in that. But like I said, AAMA, we have a job board. So if there's any way I can help you or any of your audience out, I'll be glad to do so.
Now, tell me about, you said AMA. I've been calling it AAMA.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
tell me, or the other one I said is, I like A squared Ma. That's a cool one if you want to adapt that
Hey.
one. It's corny, but I like it.
Okay. Okay. A square mile.
um, so tell me about AAMA. Like, where did that, like, what made you start that association?
Yeah. So the African American Marketing Association, honestly, the idea came to me in 2013,
Mm,
when I was graduating. I was able to serve on the boards of the Houston Area Urban League Young Professionals, the Black MBA Association, and I realized here in Houston, we did not have a Black marketing group. And when
mm,
I looked online, Black Marketing Association, African American Marketing Association, nothing came up.
mm,
So 2018, there was a series of um, commercials, ads that, once again, either the lack of representation, more so the misrepresentation.
mm.
We had H&M, we had Shea Moisture, um,
Oh yeah, was that the year of the little boy with the
with the
monkey
yeah
on
with the
him?
monkey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's some other issues with that. I think there's some cultural differences that went on with that. Shea Moisture, because they had a merger and hired Gary Vayner Media. Um, and then some stuff here. I'm in Houston, some stuff on the local level. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, um, we're not in the room. Like, like, who approved this?
Yeah, yeah,
Who approved this message?
yeah.
Um,
That went
so it
over
was
my.
like,
No, I'm serious. That went over my head whenever I saw what happened with Shea Moisture and the H&M. I was just like, who? What in their right mind? Like, did they not have the forethought?
yeah, I think Snapchat had the commercial, not the commercial. They had the game with Rihanna and Chris Brown, like a boxing game with
Oh,
Rihanna.
yes.
Like it was just a bad year. Like Pepsi had the one with Kylie Jenner and um you know what I'm talking about
When
because it
she
was
had
comparing.
the when she came out during the protest, it was like,
Yes,
have a Coke, officer.
yeah, yeah. And I'm like, these companies are missing the mark, right?
All
And
every time.
like
Every time, Michelle. Every time.
well, I realize so it's a couple of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like bad publicity is good publicity, especially when you have Twitter because now they're trending,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that could be one thing. But more importantly, I was like, we're not decision makers.
Yes.
I know if that was me, I'd be like, no, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yes.
we ain't about to
Let's
do
not
this.
do this. Yes.
Yeah, you know. So it was like, where are the black marketers? And I know we out here. So I formed the group and we launched in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just trying to figure out ever since. We got about 75 members, a network of 300
Wow.
black marketers. After the George Floyd incident, a lot of other groups have kind of emerged.
Mm-hmm.
We have diverse creatives. We have hireblackmarketer.com. We have Black Marketers of America Association. So there's a lot of us out there. I'm glad we're coming to the forefront. We're creating websites and more of an online presence so that when you do Google, you can kind of, see what's a
See
good
who's
fit for
there.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's where the goal, the idea stemmed from.
Okay. That's fantastic. I thought that was very interesting that you started. I was like, oh, she has her own association too. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Michelle, I don't have any more questions for you. Let the audience know where they can find you.
Yeah, so first and last name, as you can see here, Michele Ngome. You can follow me on Instagram for the cool stuff, Facebook for the real stuff, and LinkedIn for the professional stuff.
Okay. I'm gonna pause it now.